Good afternoon. Hello. What a great crowd. So nice to be with you all today, this gorgeous December day, but we'll take it. Welcome. I am Gabrielle Fialkoff, New York City Parks Commissioner. So thrilled to be with you today as we celebrate the forthcoming restoration and transformation of the Vale right here in gorgeous Prospect Park. I would first like to thank our special guests and speakers today. Our very own champion of all things park equity, Mayor Bill de Blasio, will be here shortly. We are so thrilled to have our partners with us today, well, to be in their park, the president of the Prospect Park Alliance, Sue Donahue. Thank you for hosting us and being with us here today. Prospect Park Alliance Board Chair Iris Weinschel, Assembly Member Bobby Carroll, and Reverend Sheldon Hamblin, Rector of St. Paul's Church in the village of Flatbush. I am so proud to be part of this administration, which has prioritized park equity, representation, and access for all. And we have learned during the pandemic, of course, that our parks and our open spaces are not a luxury, but a necessity. And I think we all are very clear on just how important they are for our shared mental health and our physical well-being, and to come and socialize, be with friends and families during this difficult 2 years has been so important for all New Yorkers. At just under 150 years old, Prospect Park is really an early standard bearer for our vision of park access equity. Here, Frederick Law Olmsted created a park that served all New Yorkers and all Brooklynites. You don't need a ticket to get in. You don't need to drive here. Simply take a stroll, get on your bike, take the subway. Millions of New Yorkers can come here to one of our country's, and New York certainly, most beloved, beautiful green spaces. Today, Prospect Park connects nearly a dozen different diverse neighborhoods who all come together to share in this space and enliven it. At the heart of the park sits the historic Vale, 26 of the most serene and beautiful acres in Brooklyn. Thanks to Mayor de Blasio's $40 million allocation, the Vale is poised for a long overdue revitalization and transformation that will benefit generations of future Brooklynites and New Yorkers. The reimagining of the Vale will strengthen and retain its forested areas while adding an outdoor amphitheater, a restored children's pool, and a pollinator, meadow, and arbor that will support biodiverse ecosystems and so much more. The investment is made possible by the mayor, and it is investment in the future of Prospect Park. A future that would not be possible without the visionary leadership of the Prospect Park Alliance, who has worked with the city to rebuild and advocate for the park for more than 30 years. Transformative work like the project planned here at the Vale requires advocacy, determination, collaboration, and the unyielding spirit of the people who call this space their own. We are so excited to see your dreams come to life and look forward to the day that this restoration is complete. Now, please join me in welcoming our partner on this project, Prospect Park Alliance President Sue Donahue. Welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner Fialkoff. I'm so happy to be here this morning. I could use a little stool, obviously. A little step stool would have been good, but it's okay. As the Commissioner said, there is one. Look at that. All right. I don't think the mayor will need this, but I'm very happy to have it. Anyway, as the commissioner said, I'm Sue Donahue, president of the Prospect Park Alliance and park administrator, and I represent the nonprofit that sustains this park in partnership with the city of New York. And I'm so thrilled to welcome you all to Prospect Park on this beautiful morning and to mark such an important milestone in our history. The Alliance is incredibly grateful to Mayor de Blasio, as well as our team of local elected officials that so admirably represent this park. From our borough president, Eric Adams, Majority Leader Lori Cumbo, council members Brad Lander and Matthew Eugene, our Assembly member Bobby Carroll, who's with us today, and so many others who, through all of their support and all of these capital commitments, have recognized the importance of this park to the larger Brooklyn community and have supported its restoration and care in so many substantive ways. The restoration of the Vale is yet another significant milestone in the Alliance's important mission to sustain and advance Prospect Park. From our very first restoration, the project that we took on first was the park's historic carousel, funded and supported by such important donors and benefactors like our former board chair, Terry Christensen, to the decades-long restoration of the ravine, the 150 acres of core woodlands. It's really the heart of this park where we're all sitting today, to one of our most significant restorations to date, which was the beautiful, beautiful restoration of Lakeside, the LaFrac Center, which we're so proud of. We've worked really hard to make the park as welcoming and accessible as possible to all Brooklyn residents, with a particular focus on those landscapes that have been neglected, that are in need of restoring. The Vale is one of those areas that really has not been touched by restoration for many decades, and due to its geography and some real lack of amenities, it's not as well known by the public. I have walked over here many times with different people who have said, I never knew this space existed. So we're thrilled to be here today and shed light on it, and we're thrilled to be able to begin this project that's going to transform this area and make it more welcoming and make it more accessible to so many. This area is well known, though, by a whole group of very dedicated volunteers, many of whom are here today, who have worked so hard to care for and sustain this beautiful part of the park. And I am incredibly thankful to them, and just want to take a moment to really give those folks, the volunteers, a big shout out who've worked so hard in this area. The Vale restoration is within a huge 26-acre area. We're in the northeast corner of the park, which, through the support of our elected officials, the Alliance has been restoring really in segments over the past several years. This includes the beautiful restoration of the Flatbush Avenue perimeter. Hopefully some of you came along that sidewalk. You see how improved it is. It's so beautiful and makes such a difference. Denise is shaking her head from the zoo. She knows. It made a huge difference to restore that entrance and have the beautiful alley of trees and a new sidewalk. The creation of the new Flatbush Avenue entrance. It's the first new entrance to the park in over 40 years. And thankfully through $3.2 million in funding via the Mayor's Parks Without Borders initiative, we opened that in January of 2020. And then we've been working really hard on the restoration of the Vale woodlands, which were unfortunately heavily damaged because of Sandy, and we lost many mature trees. So that's been a huge amount of work. And we received funding, $1.25 million in funding from the National Park Service and New York State Parks for that. And then the restoration of the pathways and lighting in the Vale through $2 million in funding from the mayor. So as you can see, there's both a lot of momentum in this area and a lot of support from a lot of different partners, which is what makes this park thrive. And it's really the only way that we can thrive and survive and be so successful in this public-private partnership with the city. I do also want to let you know that this vision that you see behind me for the restoration of the Vale is the result of a huge amount of community support and outreach that we did in collaboration with the Hester Street Collaborative. Through their support and through some help from a foundation, we were able to reach out to over 2,000 community members to find out what people thought the park needed. This is an incredible opportunity for us because, as many of you know, we are in a landmark park, and much of the park is, we can't alter a whole lot. We want to be cognizant and faithful to the historic design, but this area where we're standing has changed a good deal over the years. So we have a bit more leeway. And so we knew we wanted to reach out to the community, hear what they had to say. What did the park need? And so we were really pleased to be able to do this work. And what became clear, and what was really interesting to us to hear from this outreach from the community, the main thing people said was restore and enhance. They loved the fact that it was quiet and contemplative. They loved the fact that it is so important to birders and that it is so well utilized for contemplation and reflection. We want to keep that. We want to keep that beautiful, simple space. And so the designs that we're showing here today, and it's in the early stages and we have more work to do, but we are in keeping with that idea. We want it to be contemplative and restorative. We want it to be a place for intergenerational play, a place where people could come with their grandchildren and sit and enjoy. So our vision is behind us. It's a vision for 3 kind of separate rooms that will create vibrant spaces for the community that mirror what you see behind us. There's kind of 3 pools, and we use that as a starting point. At the south end, where we're standing right here, there'll be a sensory garden and a rustic arbor that will help draw people in, we hope, and know that there's something up here to come and see. The center of space will be an area for families and school groups for nature play. As many of you know, there's the Zucker Natural Play area not far from here that has been incredibly popular and has drawn people into the park in a way that we didn't anticipate. And the interest in nature play and forest schools has only skyrocketed. So we want to do that in a more substantial way and make use of this beautiful area where we're standing and replicate that and have kids have the feel of playing in nature, which is so important and such a big part of the park. And then lastly, the north corner will have 2 elements, a natural amphitheater, again, for community space and to sit, and then a small indoor-outdoor kind of community facility with a comfort station. One of the biggest asks we get in the park, absolutely, is for more restrooms. The second element of this important restoration is the children's pool, which is in the lower part of the Vale. A really exciting project for our team and an enormous opportunity to just bring that back for historic preservation. It's really going to be wonderful to bring that back to its potential for the community. So at this point, I want to take a moment to recognize and thank the staff and volunteers who do so much to sustain the park, particularly the Vale. First, I would like to recognize Christian Zimmerman, the Alliance's Vice President of Capital and Landscape Management, for his vision not only in the area where we're standing, but for Prospect Park over so many years in the park. It's really been phenomenal. I also want to recognize the Alliance's Director of Landscape Management, Leila Mugri Bakhtiari. We have Mary Keebaugh here and Mark Anthony, our deputy directors, and ones who so ably lead our team of volunteers and inspire people every day to come out here in all weather. And it's because of their great work and because of how they have educated people about the park that we have so many dedicated volunteers. And I'm so thankful for that. Kate Abrams is here, Mark Anthony. Sorry, I already said Mark. Howard Goldstein, our senior forest ecologist. Our volunteer services team is here right in front of me. I want to recognize Jessica Jamhuri and John Delgado. Marcia, I know I saw, is also here. And our amazing volunteers, who I mentioned earlier, who are so dedicated to this space in particular, but work throughout the park. Even when it was the pandemic and we weren't sure if it was okay, some of them we couldn't have stay away. They were coming and helping even throughout the most difficult times. And for that, we are so appreciative. Want to thank Brian Sullivan, Kathleen Ehrenberg, and Tim McKinney. And all of our, what we call our Wednesday woodland volunteers, who've done an amazing amount of work just beyond us in the woodlands and created these beautiful paths and cleared invasive species. If you have a chance, it's a great place to wander. I also want to thank our partners at New York City Parks, including Commissioner Fialkoff. Borough Commissioner Marty Marr, unfortunately, wasn't able to be here, but we certainly recognize and thank him for his support. Our regional manager, Liz Walsack, is over there hiding under a tree, and also our park manager, Claude Ormsby. And last but not least, for creating this new vision for our Vale, our design and construction team, including senior landscape architect Svetlana Bragulina and our senior architect Alden Madry. Thank you for all the great work. Lastly, but most importantly, the last 2 years have seen an outpouring of support from the community to our park and the recognition of the critical and essential role it plays in all of our lives. Prospect Park is so fortunate to have the support and the love of the community, and we value it, and we know that it's critical to our success. And we are dedicated to continuing to welcome people and sustain this space for the benefit of all of the community of Brooklyn. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you to the mayor for this generous gift, for beginning this larger effort to ensure that this part of the park is sustained and welcoming now for generations to come. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Sue. And these projects really don't happen without the support and the advocacy of our local elected officials. So I'm so pleased Assemblymember Bobby Carroll is here with us today. Please join us.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Commissioner Falcour. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Iris. And I really want to thank all the volunteers who spend so much time making this park the amazing place that it is. I was fortunate enough to be able to grow up and live next to Prospect Park my entire life. And I want to reiterate what Prospect Park Alliance President Sue Donahue just said, that, you know, our parks are so many things, but this part of the park, the Vale of Kashmir, is so amazing because it is a contemplative place. It is a restive place. It is a place that folks who otherwise wouldn't be able to connect with nature and beauty in a quiet place can do that right here in the heart of Brooklyn. And so I want to thank the mayor and the Parks Commissioner and Iris and everyone to restoring this part of the park to its original beauty and grandeur, because I know that there are so many Brooklynites who will come here and be inspired, feel creative, feel the helpful and healthful aspects of being in nature. And so thank you for all the work that you've done. And I am happy to be just a small part of the support of this park because I know how important it is to all of our communities.
Thank you so much. And we are so lucky to have with us today Reverend Sheldon Hamblin, representing St. Paul's Church in the village of Flatbush. Welcome.
Thank you. Commissioner, Assemblyman, members of the Alliance, members of the Prospect Park Community Committee, ladies and gentlemen, I am the Reverend Sheldon Hamblin. I am the rector at St. Paul's Church in the village of Flatbush, an Episcopal church in the Diocese of Long Island. I am happy to be here this morning for many reasons. When I enter the park, I always bring a theological component with me. And as I'm here this morning, I am thinking of one of the well-known Anglican hymns, "For the beauty of the earth, for the glory of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies." This signifies that hymn, the beauty of this park. And so I give God thanks for this opportunity. I give God thanks for this park, a place that I use often when, dealing with people is not easy thing to do, even dealing with myself. And so I come here a lot for renewal, for refreshment. And so I give God thanks to the mayor. He could have given that money to many other important initiatives here in the city, but he chose to give it to the Prospect Park for us to enjoy. I got involved with the Prospect Park about 2018. And the whole thing is about community. And employee of the Hester Street, she told me about what was about to happen with the reimagining of the Rose Garden. I was a novice, and then I went and I became involved. If you were to look at the report, you will see that under the 11226 zip code, about 12% of persons responded. Well, I am happy that I played a role in getting members of St. Paul's Church in the village of Flatbush to take the time out and to share their views of the park. One of the realities here in Brooklyn is that St. Paul's is a predominantly Caribbean congregation. And the church runs from church to St. Paul's Place. St. Paul's lead us right in to Prospect Park. We have members who live on St. Paul's Place and St. Paul's Court. And they've been living in this country over 50 odd years and have never visited Prospect Park. Well, I have to do something about that, and hence my involvement. And so I want to thank Sue and Danny and all the others for your hospitality, Deborah for welcoming me and making me feel welcome. And so now I can move forward to encourage members of St. Paul's, but of the parish, to utilize this beauty that God has endowed us with. And again, thanks to the mayor for the funding. And I hope that at some point we can, after COVID, we can gather here again and have a big party.
That would be wonderful. We'll be here. We'll meet you here. And now I'm so pleased to be able to introduce someone I've known for many, many years, chair of the Prospect Park Alliance, Iris Wenchel. Welcome. So I, like Sue, am height challenged, so I'm going to put down the... Okay. So thank you, Commissioner Fialkoff. And she noted we know each other for a very long time, more years than I wish to count. I'm delighted to be here with you today for this really great occasion and to have the honor of introducing Mayor Bill de Blasio, who I guess will be here momentarily. As many of you know, he is no stranger to the park. Bill and his wife were married here in the park, as well as I think many of us will for a long time remember the photos of the mayor walking through the park on his phone during the height of the pandemic, because quite frankly, this was the open space that he could really enjoy and take in while he was dealing with this great crisis. On behalf of the Prospect Park Alliance and our board, we would like to thank Mayor de Blasio for his leadership and vision in advancing Prospect Park, Brooklyn's backyard, for the millions of New Yorkers the park service every year. And I think you heard it from a number of speakers. You know, during the pandemic, we realized how crucial open space and parks were to all New Yorkers. And in particular, here in Prospect Park, we just saw the huge amount of people from not only around this neighborhood, but all over the city who came to Prospect Park to really enjoy the park and the open space and to have the ability not to worry, not to be concerned, but to really be with their family and friends. The mayor's support of this important restoration, in addition to the money that the city gave for the restoration of the Grand Army Plaza Arch and other recent upcoming improvements, which you heard Sue talk about, will really be a lasting legacy for Prospect Park and all that New Yorkers will be able to celebrate. So we would like to welcome the mayor back to his borough and to applaud him and really his entire team at City Hall, including Deputy Mayor Vicky Bean, the Parks Commissioner, Gabrielle Fialkoff, and the great support that we had from the Parks Department, as well as the many members of both the community here around and in Prospect Park, and the wonderful and very, very dedicated staff of the Prospect Park Alliance. So I think my timing is perfect because I see the mayor walking up the path, and sadly he didn't hear my remarks, but he will speak next. So without further ado, you'll have to read them, Bill. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the mayor of the city of New York, Bill de Blasio.
Thank you very much. Well, everybody, I'm sure, as usual, Iris was eloquent. She could see me. This is my height advantage. When I was walking up the path, you could still see me there, right? Everyone, I am just so happy to be here because this is about as personal as it gets for me, and I want to speak to that. But first, a tremendous thanks to Iris, who just deeply, deeply loves this park, has put her heart and soul into making it better and protecting it, and has this wonderful combination of warmth and persistence. That when she wants something for the park, it starts warm and then it gets persistent. And but I always hear her because I know what she's trying to do is for the right reasons. Let me just get rid of this. There we go. And I just want to say your advocacy, your love for this place is one of the reasons why we are here today to celebrate this really crucial contribution to the future of Prospect Park. Everyone help me and support and thank Iris for all she has done. And I want to, of course, thank our Parks Commissioner, Gabrielle Fialkoff, who does so much for the city. Thank you, dear friend. Thank you for all you're doing. Love your mask. You're on brand. And thank you, Sue, and everyone who makes this park great. I am so appreciative to everyone who is part of the Prospect Park family. So some of you may know, and others may not, that it could not be more personal for several reasons. The most important of which is that Charlene and I got married under a tree in Prospect Park. And we did that because this place just was kind of brought together everything that we loved and everything we cared about. We love Brooklyn deeply. We love the fact that it's a place for everyone, that this park brings together all the people of Brooklyn, all the people of the city. We love the energy and the vibrancy and the humanity mixed with the reverence for nature. And so the day we got married under that tree, it was a beautiful May day in 1994. The park was in one of those splendid spring moments, and it gave us a sense of all the possibilities ahead. And we had our reception in the picnic house, and it was a joyous moment. And then fast forward, just very soon after, suddenly children started to appear, and we would take them to the 3rd Street Playground and 9th Street Playground. And then they both got involved in Little League, and they played on the ball fields. And one of my cousins one day came from California and walked through the meadow between the ball fields and was kind of amazed at how much concentrated baseball activity and softball activity it was. And he said, I have a name for this. He called it the Little League Valley, which I thought was beautiful. But this place has, long before these recent years, meant so much to all of us. But in the pandemic, I think it took on an entirely different meaning for a lot of us. I had long ago said what many New Yorkers know, some New Yorkers haven't understood or experienced quite as well, that far before the pandemic, our parks, for many New York families, are where they take their summer vacation, are the place that people find the good, find all the good that life has to offer, and can experience something for free because that's the only thing they can experience. And it's been that way for generations in this city, and our parks have been one of the great equalizers. But during COVID, a lot of people maybe previously had not seen it that way, ended up experiencing that exact same reality, and it kind of cut across all the demographics and classes and everything. Everyone kind of was in the same boat. Maybe some people used to go far away for vacation and others never could dream of vacation, but everyone was in the same boat. You're spending your vacation right here because no one was going anywhere. And you were spending your weekends, you were spending your mornings getting your exercise, and those times when there was only one chance a day to get some exercise, people would come here. And this park really sustained a lot of us. I was one of them. This park sustained a lot of us. And I want to say the folks who kept it going, to everyone, Gabrielle, Sue, and everyone you both represent, everyone who does the work, I want to thank everyone associated with Prospect Park, everyone associated with the Parks Department, because in the midst of the biggest crisis in our history, you kept this place going, and you kept it something beautiful for everyone. Let's give them all a round of applause right now. So, I'll just finish on this. I am a very, very proud Brooklynite. Although Chiara and Dante like to lord over me that I was not born in Brooklyn, and they were. And they are more Brooklyn than me, which is, you know, what can you do with that? You just have to tip the cap. But as a very proud Brooklynite, it was important to me, as my administration ended, to do all I could for this park. Because this park has done so much for all of us. And I wanted to make sure that we continued its greatness. And I also did not want to assume that just because something had been done before a certain way, we had to keep doing it that way. Because one thing I hope we've done in these 8 years is shown that we didn't have to follow the previous status quo, that we could change the paradigm. And this park represents one of the greatest egalitarian experiences in all of New York City. And that's saying a lot, because I think we are one of the greatest egalitarian expressions in this whole world. I think New York City represents a place for everyone that's almost unparalleled in the world. That whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever you believe, you can find respect here. And this park epitomizes it. I've had so many beautiful experiences where I've seen representatives of all the elements of humanity all together in the same space enjoying this place, and a certain peace comes over those moments, and there's not a sense of turf or difference or separation. Everyone enjoying in the same space something in common. It's beautiful and it's powerful, and that's what this place is. So when the time came to create our final budget, I said I don't want to be held back by whatever our assumptions were. I wanted to make sure what we did would have a profound impact. And so, to restore the Prospect Park Vale, and restore 26 acres and make them even greater, I am now happy to present the largest single city budget allocation in the history of the Prospect Park Alliance. And we happen to have a representation of it. So come forward, everyone. I present to you. Come on, Sue. Sue's going right to the bank with it after. I present to you on behalf of the people of New York City $40 million for the greatness of Prospect Park and its great future. Sue, if you go into the bank, they will honor it. Okay, I mean, it might confuse them at first, but they're like, "Look, it's an official check."
Right to 7,000.
It's like, Sue, go in and say, "Can I cash this, please?" Everyone, you have all earned this. Every single one of you loves this park and has helped this park. You have earned it. Turn to your neighbor. Look at all the good people make this park great. Give your neighbor a round of applause. Thank you, everyone, for this wonderful day together. That's for you. Take it with you.